Roy Smith is our corn and soybean market analyst this week. In the USDA's latest progress report, the average condition ratings of crops across the country held mostly steady compared to a week ago. However, the scoring is notably worse than a year ago. The amount of corn rated good to excellent is down 12 points from this time in 2016, and the percent of soybeans in the best two categories is 10 points lower. Two states specifically are struggling. In North Dakota, about a quarter of both corn and beans is listed as poor to very poor, and in South Dakota, 38% of corn and 33% of soybeans are in the worst two categories. We talked with Roy Wednesday afternoon about how weather across the country has impacted market prices, but we started by asking for an overview of his area in southeast Nebraska.
Conditions there in Cass County, Nebraska really look pretty good. We've had a couple rains that went through and dropped us some really good moisture, and we weren't in too bad a shape up until then, but we're starting to look dry now. As you look out over the cornfields, they're still nice and bright and green, but the kind of weather we've had this last week, it isn't going to last very long if we don't get some more rain pretty soon.
As we look back at the rallies that we've seen in corn and soybeans, is it safe to say that weather has been the cause?
Well, I think so. I mean, you never know for sure until the event is way past, but everybody this year, with the prices so low, everybody's looking for a weather rally, and that makes that whole situation kind of tenuous, because you may get it and you may not. If you do get the weather rally, it's very difficult to predict. Sometimes it comes end of May or early June. Sometimes it comes in August or late or early September. So weather rally, yes. Is it the weather rally? I'm not sure. I can't guarantee anybody that it isn't going to come again. And this week we saw the prices that had gone pretty badly in the tank come back with a vengeance. And so I'd say flexibility is a key word here.
If it's not unusual to see the weather rally, what usually happens historically to corn and soybean markets as you go through August and start to approach harvest season?
Well, normally what we see is the futures price go down after the 4th of July, and eventually they get to a point where they're oversold, and it gives the markets a little impetus, and you get a rally that I call the frost scare rally. And that frost scare rally really takes place usually after the 4th of July and later than the 1st of August, or the middle of August. So you've got a couple opportunities here. It's just that they're awfully hard to predict, and if you're going to use that for triggering sales, you need to have your fingers on the triggering finger, and be ready to make those decisions. And frankly, that's one of the reasons that I like the dead cat bounce, which is after harvest and we know what we've got. I also like the frost scare rally, which is usually about the middle of August, and people start talking about the bounce that comes about the time everybody is sure that we're never going to have a good day again, and then you see North Dakota,
South Dakota,
western Nebraska, all of them having production problems, and so you get a little bounce off of that, and that especially is a good opportunity to make some sales.
And that's really kind of a wild card here if that would start to expand, or if rain would shut off to the east, right?
Yeah, one of the things that people need to know about this weather rally is that the weather rally takes place in late summer, and you normally see the market break before the weather rally happens. So in other words, you're expecting the price to drop in around the 1st of September, and what happens is we see the price drop the 10th of August or middle of August, and then it rains. never ceases to amaze me how the market knows that the rain is coming before the farmer knows that it's coming, but it seems like that happens. And so if you're going to sell into the weather rally, you need to sell sooner rather than later.
We're just a couple weeks past the drop dead date for holding unpriced old crop. What if you didn't manage to get it gone?
Well, there's still plenty of time. It won't be probably as high as it has been, although the last week we've seen a nice rebound, and so Mother Nature and the market gurus have given farmers another chance. And you know, to be honest with you, you have to decide how much you're going to sell into that. Are you going to sell old crop or new crop? You know, there's a lot of decisions that need to be made, and they're difficult decisions because, let's face it, we're still below the cost of production in these grains, and if you're going to sell into that situation, you probably need to do it very carefully and on a small scale.